Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. My friends, come join me for just a minute and imagine how fabulous you'd feel living the unique and distinct life that you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love with people you love in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you, it makes for a very happy life. And so can my friend Mark Wilson. And he's here to share his unique and distinct journey to his life of significance. But before we bring him on, I'd like to share a poem that we created to thank him for being our guest star today. We're calling it Leadership in Love. And it goes like this. Some paths are chosen, bold and bright. Others are found when wrong meets right. And somewhere between what we plan and control, a deeper calling awakens the soul. And Mark felt that calling steady and true, not shouted in triumph, but quietly grew. When love said step in, he answered that call and learned how to lead with love through it all. He traded the boardroom for moments that matter, where time moves slower, but hearts beat faster, where small faithful actions day after day can light up a life in a powerful way. So if you're standing where duty feels near and love asks for courage that rises through fear, lean in close when an awakening feels true. It may be leadership in love calling you. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show.
Wow, man, I love that poem. That's amazing. I've never had a poem that describes my journey. It's beautiful. Thank you. It's
It's
fantastic.
it's a pleasure. So get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
Well, I took care of my mom with Alzheimer's for 15 years at home, and she passed a few years ago. And so my boss said, "You want to come back to work? You're still pretty young." I said, "No, no, I've got a new mission of significance, and that is to take care of, help people that are dealing with Alzheimer's, family members that have, members of their family with Alzheimer's." And so I'm doing a lot of different things. I'm leading several Alzheimer's support groups where families come in and I facilitate the discussions and help them feel stronger and braver about what they're doing and give them tips and support. I also I go to Washington D.C. a couple this is my second coming up where I present to Congress and help get some research funding for Alzheimer's research. I do fundraising. I'm doing an interesting project now. I lead several high school teams that the Alzheimer's Association is sponsoring, and we basically have 8 weeks to fundraise and educate the community. And I've never had children, and I don't know anything about high schoolers, but it's a journey.
Mm.
These guys always, when I meet with them, they always come up with some high school slang. I have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm like learning a new language, and I call my
Yeah.
as teenager and say, "What does that mean?" And she tells me. So I'm doing a lot of fun things, and then I just launched my book that I've been working on for quite some time about Alzheimer's care and some of the creative things that I did to help my mom live longer and happier, and so I'm excited about that. So I'm trying to, get people to read it because it's going to help people. I've gotten some amazing endorsements from dementia care leaders throughout the system, throughout the country, and neurologists and experts. And they say they've got some really unique things. And I have a little interesting spin on it because I was an executive at Taco Bell for 25 years, leading leadership development and HR. And so there's a little kind of lens around the book that talks about how do you lead care teams, how do you lead the extended care teams like doctors and other people. So it's kind of a combination of all the creative actions that I took because I'm a learning kind of person and also this leadership sort of lens. So my new mission is to help as many people as I can who are dealing with this horrific disease, dementia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
What about
I'm
your
it's
what
fun to
about your one-on-one care leadership? You're also doing some direct coaching, are you?
a little bit, yeah. I'm kind of just getting that started. I haven't done too much of that, but I'm excited. I mean, I used to coach executives in their journeys and they're leading their teams. And so I thought, okay, I can kind of transfer that skill now that I've learned a lot about care and Alzheimer's care and all that. So it's kind of a new application of that coaching experience that I have. But I couldn't be more excited. I mean, I feel like when I see people, either they've seen something in my book that sparks them and they like, or
Hmm.
coaching or the support groups, I light up because I can feel
Yeah.
the love, to your point about love, I can feel. that they have some hope, because there's a lot of people who have no hope because Alzheimer's, there's no cure. They don't know what to do. And so, you
Yeah.
know, got some ideas, and you can be a leader. You can make things happen.
Very good. Very good. All right. Thank you, Mark. Now let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world get to know you through our happy formula. It's
Okay.
really simple, but it's very powerful. And it goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether it's physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally? In other words, what do you do on a regular basis to create the power you need to take really great care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over so you can be a giver to others?
Well, that's a great question. I do a lot of this now, and then when I was a caregiver for my mom, I tapped into it even more strongly. One is I try to exercise every day. I go for at least a walk or sometimes a swim. I try to eat pretty healthy, although it's hard after Easter because you got all the peeps on sale, which I've just have a weakness about that. But generally, I
Yeah.
try to eat pretty healthy. I pray a little bit. There's a interesting Catholic theologian I listen to every morning, Matthew Kelly, who's got an interesting kind of podcast, talks about the gospel. And so, prayer is kind of a part of that. And then I just try to be grateful. I'm grateful for
Hmm.
a great career that let me leave work to take care of my mom. So I'm grateful for that. And grateful that my career was able to help me do this mission to people now
Yeah.
with Alzheimer's care. So those are kind of things, those are things that I've relied on. I think about the love I experienced growing up, which is what drove me to take care of my mom so well, because I was surrounded by her and my extended, I'm Italian by background, and my mom's,
Hmm.
I had the extended team, extended family living right down the block. And so I was surrounded by love. And so it was time to give back, taking care of my mom. And now it feels like it's still time to give back.
Yeah.
That's
Very,
all
very
that's
good.
empowering. It's an empowering thing, all that. So
Yeah, very good. All right, let's discuss my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind, and I know you're familiar with it. It's a beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And it's so powerful because it's about mindset, not circumstance. So Kaizening life is knowing I can always do something better tomorrow than today. And it creates a gentle, relentless, never-ending power that keeps lifting me higher day after day after day. So, Mark, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can keep giving more and more, impacting even more lives?
I love it. I love the concept. I learned Kaizen way back when I was teaching organization development and team building for, the corporate world. That was a kind of a thing back in the 80s. And it does apply. I mean, it applies in big ways. When I was taking care of my mom, because there's no cure for Alzheimer's, I researched everything and found out that it was a Kaizen. There's like, dozens of little things that have some evidence that helps with dementia, both in terms of extending it in health and happiness. And I thought, if there's no cure, why don't I try all these dozens of little things? And it
Yeah.
worked. You end up living 3 times longer
Hmm.
by doing these dozens of little things. And I thought, okay, if there's even some evidence and there's no side effects to a supplement or something I was doing, then why not? And so that worked for her beautifully. And it works for me too, because I try to do something every day that's going to help some family with Alzheimer's, be it, kind of talking about encouraging them to take my book, or just calling them, and I follow up with a lot of my support group people and just check in on them, and so little things like that every day sort of make you stronger, more powerful, and lead you closer and closer to your journey. It doesn't have to be big steps. It could be little steps
Yep.
every day. So I love the concept overall, and I think it's an important life concept for you. Right.
Yeah, yeah. It also keeps you looking forward for the next thing, for the next little nugget you can find, because you know that if you add it to the mix, it's going to improve. It's going to take you one more step.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's move on to purpose. That's the second part of our happy formula. And I've observed that major life transformations, those great big discoveries of purpose, often come from devastation. Addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster, some horrible thing strips a life to its core, resulting in a big and often unexpected change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration to Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover a purpose in my life using inspiration. So, how about you, Mark? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live?
Yeah, no, I love it. That's exactly my journey because I was a successful, relatively young executive at Taco Bell, doing great, and my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I was in denial about it in the beginning, and but it was clear, and so the neurologist said, "Well, your mom has two forms of dementia, plus she has some coronary issues." I said, "Well, how long did she have?" She said about 5 years, and I thought, "No way! I'm going to make her live a lot longer than that. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out."
How how old was she when it was diagnosed?
72 when she was diagnosed. And
72.
uh,
Okay. And how old were you?
I was, let's see, how old was I? Good question. Maybe 50 or so, something like that. 51. Yeah.
Okay, so take our audience back to that decision-making process because it must have been pretty brutal. You must have been pulled very hard to support your mom, but you're too young to be walking away from a career. So
Well, it's a great.
walk us through that.
Well, I tried to do both for about 9 months. Early in my mom's, journey, it was okay, but it got harder and harder. That the pull was exactly very visual because I felt like I was short changing my job. I was short changing being a good caregiver. I had lots of ideas and lots of research to do to figure out how to keep her longer, and I didn't have time because I was working and I was, I was working a 50, 60, 70 hour a week kind of a job, and so I was sort of cutting that anyway. So the tension got too great. I went to my boss and I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I have to leave. My mom has Alzheimer's. This is important." He looked at me like I had four heads. He goes, "Well,
Yeah,
you're too young for, early retirement. You're
yeah,
in the middle of a very successful career. What are you sure you want to do this?" I said, "Absolutely," because I love my mom. She took care of me and my sister beautifully. She worked two jobs and always had time for us anyway. So I thought, okay, this is my time to give back. This is my time
yeah.
to give my love. And I made that call, and it was, in retrospect, people thought I was nuts, but it was the best decision I ever made because
Hmm.
it was so clear that my mom needed me more than ever. And if the roles were reversed, believe me, she would do whatever it takes, just like I was going to do whatever it takes. So
Yeah.
that was pretty important purpose. And now that she's passed, my purpose is like to carry on her legacy and to carry
So,
on her mission, which is my
so, so at what point in that, so you cared for her for 15 years before you lost her?
yeah.
Yeah. And at what point did you realize that you were on to something more than just care, that you were able to combine your leadership skills and caregiving to this specific niche of Alzheimer's, I guess specifically, but medical care generally, I assume would
Yeah.
apply.
That's a great question because when you're in something, you don't really can't really observe it or analyze it. I was deep into care and I was deep into learning how to take care of her. I wasn't thinking about anything else, and my applying my leadership was sort of natural. It wasn't like
Hmm.
a fairness thing. I just did it because I knew all about leadership. But it was so funny. After my mom passed, I knew the director of the UC, University of California Irvine Alzheimer's Center, UCI Mind they call it. And I was telling her about my mom passing, and she asked me about it, and I was telling about some of the things that I did to take care of her. And she said, "Oh my gosh, those are really great ideas. You should share these ideas." UC Irvine had a Alzheimer's Center had a podcast series called Spotlight on Care. Why don't you go
Mm,
on a couple of the sessions and talk about it? So I said, "I've never been on a podcast. Why not?" So this is just after she passed. I was on the show, and it was remarkable. People, I don't know how they reached me exactly, email or texting, I can't remember, but they all said, "Oh my God, these are so good, such good ideas that you did,
mm,
and you should share it and write a book about it." And I thought, I didn't even realize they were great ideas. They just felt sort of natural to me.
hmm.
I've always been a big learning kind of person. So I learned all these things. And I also talked to executives. I would call the leaders of all these dementia centers and neurologists, and I'd say, "What about this? And how about that?" So I got all these ideas, and then I implemented them, and people said, "That's so good." So I thought, this is funny. Then I saw, okay, start. I writing a couple notes after that. I wrote some more notes, and like 8 months later, I had a draft of a book. But then
Hmm.
writing the book made me realize that I had something special to share. But I had no idea until I sort of, after my mom passed, and kind of had time to like reflect on what we did together. So anyway,
Very
yeah,
good.
it was funny how you kind of don't really know what you have until you have a chance to sort of sit back and look at yourself.
Yeah, and as you have started sharing it with others, are you picking up additional nuggets and adding to it and kind of building what I call the collective intelligence of a marketplace. Because as somebody tries and reads your book, they're going to come up with another idea that you maybe hadn't thought of. And
Well,
how are you keeping track of all that?
no, that's a great question. Yes, a little bit. Although I'm still early. My book just came out a couple weeks ago, so it's still early in that process. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm a big firm believer in your point, adding ideas to ideas, and so I'm open to all that. And I did it's part of my journey to write the book and also to research my mom's care while she was in the journey. Is I read a lot of stuff, and there's a lot out
Mm,
about caregiving, but there isn't too much about how do you apply the innovation uh, of actions to dementia patients. There's a lot of written about longevity and how you avoid dementia, but I found that applying these to current dementia patients, and there's research that supports that also can extend your life and your
mm.
happiness and your health, even if you have it already. And so I kind of discovered that, and as I reflect, it's coming out more clearly that you can extend your life and happiness with some of these actions. So yeah, no, I'm excited about learning as people react to my book and react to ideas that I have and speaking, whatever I end up doing it. So I'm still kind of early in that part of my my journey here. So
And one more thing on your mom, if you had 5 years or and you extended it to 15 years, how much of your technique and your process is designed to say, okay, with whatever time we have left, let's make it enjoyable?
totally.
How how much of tell us about that a little bit.
That was the happiness was the most important part. I mean, the longevity was the bonus. My goal was to make my mom's journey as happy as possible. And
Mm,
so when after about a year and a half taking care of it at home full time, it gets exhausting. And so I realized I wasn't being an effective caregiver. I wasn't doing all the innovation things I wanted to do. So then I realized I needed to get some help. So I engaged with several home care agencies and brought in some home caregivers to help me.
mm.
I'm an HR person. I was the pickiest SOB election
This is
person ever. Oh my God.
this is my mom.
Totally, exactly.
Right.
First of all, people were amazed. They said, "Well, you worked with an agency." I said, "No, I worked with 6 agencies because the more agencies I work with, the bigger the talent pool." I mean, I knew
Mm,
that from HR 101. So I would interview all these people, and the criteria that I looked for was, to your point, your question, one is safety, because I figured if my mom is not safe, nothing
right,
happy or healthy is going
right.
to. So that was important. Do they have the structural kind of core for safety? And then on top of that, I wanted I called, you mentioned it, the happiness factor. Can they
Mm,
keep my mom happy? Are they fun? Are they
yeah.
engaged, pathetic, loving? And if they had those two things, I would give them a trial shift or two and see how that worked on the job. And so I ended up hiring after about 5 years, 6 years, my mom needed almost full-time care.
Mm,
I had ended up having five full-time caregivers
wow.
cover the 24-hour shift, and they were amazing. Oh my God, they're just was so
Yeah.
fantastic. And because I knew the agency paid them whatever they paid them, average amounts, but they never left. I had caregivers that worked for my mom and I for 6, 7, 8 years
Wow.
for zero turnover because they felt part of the family.
Yeah.
And they're actually still part of the family. Even though my mom
Yeah.
passed, we're still friends with all five of them, and often meet with them and celebrate things. And so it's like a family thing. And
Yeah.
they gave their heart for my mom. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it wasn't just a job; it was their mission because it was my mission. They knew how important it was to me, and they felt it, and
Yeah.
they executed the mission as well. So.
Very good. All right, Mark, thanks for that. Now let's take a quick commercial break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience.
Hey, Charlotte, it's time to get ready. Get set. Let's work. Mark your calendars for April 24th and join us for WYTV7's Financially Lit and Fit Expo. We're bringing together youth innovators, community leaders, sponsors, vendors, and employers for a powerful day of financial literacy, career readiness, and opportunity. Showcase your brand, connect with motivated students, and make an impact that lasts. Don't miss it. Save the date for April 24th. For more information, visit WITV7.org. WITV7 is empowering minds and building futures.
Are you ready to transform your life? At happyliving.com, we've discovered 4 keys to help you live with purpose, joy, and significance. Unlock your truth with the Happy Quiz. Unlock your happy formula with inspiring stories from the Something Significant Show. Unlock your roadmap to happiness with our free ebook, Making Your Mark of Significance. And unlock your inspired life with our life-changing e-course, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life. This is your time to shine. Go to happyliving.com now and click Unlock the Power of You. Unlock your power. Live your best life. happyliving.com.
And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Mark Wilson, a former senior executive in leadership and organizational development who stepped away from a 20-plus year corporate career to care for his mom during her Alzheimer's journey. What he discovered changed everything. Caregiving isn't just support, it's leadership. Now, through his Bold Care Leadership Framework and book, Mark helps families move from overwhelm to clarity, building stronger care, greater confidence, and more meaningful outcomes. Oh, Mark, I love how you've turned love into leadership. And I think you're going to love this article that I found. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. And it revealed something really powerful. It said, the simple act of giving can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. Science confirms that when we give our time, talents, and treasures, it doesn't just help others, it transforms us too. Giving helps us rise above challenge, it helps us find meaning, and it even helps us discover our purpose. So I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So how about you, Mark? Has giving your time, talents, and treasure been a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting through hardships and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Oh, completely. I mean, I'm living exactly what you just described because I have a clear purpose and a mission now to share what I've learned. I worked hard to learn everything, and now I want to share it with families that are struggling with this horrific disease. And the giving is sharing, and it's all volunteer work. I mean, none of it is paid. I mean, I think I make 50 cents a copy of my book, so I mean,
we need to sell lots.
Exactly. So I mean, so the goal now is to help people through my book. Breakthrough Alzheimer's Care is the name of it, plus my support groups that I lead, advocating in Washington, fundraising for Alzheimer's. So that's all volunteer work. But it feels important. It feels just as important and probably more important than my corporate career because it's about helping people. It's about giving, to your point. It's giving, giving my heart and soul. And see the passion I have for these things, and I think it's inspirational. At least I hope it is. So
yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, but try to let the audience understand if somebody, a family member, a reader gets an idea from your book and actually implements it and makes improvement in their mother or father's journey, how much joy that brings you, and why does it?
Oh, it brings me immense joy. I mean, it's like a reason for what I'm doing. I mean, that's my goal, and people like to see their goals achieved. And so when I see somebody who even has a smile and a happiness, I see this in the support groups. They're all face-to-face support groups that I lead, and people come in with an idea that somebody, either myself or somebody else in the group, had given them, and they smile, they go from crying to smiling, and it's just, I can't tell you how rewarding that is. I mean, you're spot on with that formula. So
yeah, very good. So the science says giving brings meaning to our lives, and the joy that we feel when we create value for others confirms it. But there's something deeper at work, Mark. I believe the magic of life comes when we're giving from living in our purpose, because that's where the joy doesn't just touch the receiver, but it flows to the giver too, and even to those witnessing the giving. And something else happens there. Fear seems to loosen its grip, self-focus shrinks, peace grows steadier, and hope grows stronger. And it all comes from aligning with purpose and becoming more so we can give more. So, Mark, I'd love our audience to witness what that magic looks like in your life. So sit back, my friend, open your heart and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact that you're making in their lives because you're giving from living in your purpose. One person said, Mark offers a unique blend of personal experience and highly practical advice, from home safety and daily care routines to navigating long care decisions and working effectively with doctors. Another said he teaches that with hope, faith, and love, the experience of caring for someone with Alzheimer's can be far more meaningful and even more life-giving than you might expect. Another said, what stood out most to me is the way he centers dignity and quality of life, not just the diagnosis. That shift alone is incredibly impactful. Others said his guidance is grounded in hard-won, real-world experience. His book serves as a compass to empower caregivers to take back the reins. Deeply personal, honest, intentional, respectful, compassionate, comprehensive, authentic, grounded, empowering, realistic, encouraging, refreshing, accessible, heartwarming, powerful, well-organized, logical, knowledgeable, a rare gem. Mark reminds us that sustaining the caregiver is essential to sustaining care itself. His results were nothing short of extraordinary. His mom experienced more joy, better health, and greater longevity than anyone thought possible. Thanks to his book, I can better care for my loved ones who are struggling. Thank you, Mark. And finally, this person said simply, Mark's mission of helping people dealing with the horrors of Alzheimer's is a blessing from God. So, Mark, how does all that incredible love make you feel?
Matt, you have made my day, my week, and my year by listening to those reflections. So yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't ask for more in life right now. I mean, I'm so happy that people are benefiting from my experience. So you made my day, Matt. Thank you. So,
Very good. And folks, that's it. That's what this show is all about. We're here, Mark and me and all our guest stars, to encourage you, our listeners, to find that same magic in your life because it's available to you. It's available for everyone. And it comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time, talents, and treasure is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose. And then giving from living in your purpose brings a deep joy to you and to those around you too. So it seems that giving leads to purpose and giving from purpose leads to joy. So Mark, if I'm going to fully capture the exponential power of our happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a tiny bit more to power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you, Mark?
oh my gosh, it is so spot on, and I haven't actually heard it said so articulately and clearly. I'm just like math gone crazy. I love it.
Math gone crazy. Well, now let's go from math to words. I love the power of words and
Yes.
how the right quote can meet us in moments of challenge. So let's do a lightning round. As I prepared for this, a few quotes surfaced, not just because they're meaningful, but because they reflect your journey of love, service, and leadership. So I'll read each one and ask you to share the first thoughts that come to your mind. No rehearsing, just truth. Here we go. From Mother Teresa. She said, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into the giving.
Oh, my reaction to that is beaming. I mean, I just feel like I live that every day, and Mother Teresa, I have so much respect for her. It's like so right and so rewarding and so blessed. So,
Yeah, very good. All right. I included this one, even though the pronunciation is going to be difficult. This is from Rabindranath Tagore. He said, I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy.
oh my God, that's a great quote too. I mean, service is joy. I mean, if you're clear on your mission and you're executing it and you're seeing people happy, that's more joyful than you could ever get by doing your own selfish things. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's clearly much better. So,
yeah. This is from Nelson Mandela. He said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to move forward despite it."
Oh, I love it. No, it's funny. There's a quote in my book. It's by an author. I can't remember her name, but I think she's passed a couple years ago. Called it's feel the fear and do it anyway. And the thought is,
Hmm.
afraid to do something. That's a good reason to do it, and then you're going to feel better about it, and it's going to give you more courage, and it's going to be a positive, virtuous cycle because you're going to do more, and you're going to
Yeah.
feel about it. It's the same idea. So yeah,
So many people watch others doing big things and think that those people don't have fear. And
yeah.
it's not true. We're all afraid of things that we don't understand and don't know, but some just
Oh no, it's
you can create a habit of
fun.
facing it. In fact, when you feel fear, it's probably something you should be exploring, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what this book talks about. Feel the fear and do it anyway. But my grandmother, who was very inspirational for me, I mentioned her a couple of times in the book. She had a thing where if I was afraid to do something, she and I were very close. And if I was afraid to do something, I'd ask her. I'd say, we call her Nanny. So Nanny, I'm not sure if I should do this. It's so hard, And she says, well, oh, she would ask me, which I love. She said, has anybody ever done this before? And somebody has always done something. So I said,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been done before, Nanny. And she'd look at me and she'd say, if it's been done before, then you can do it too. And she
Yeah.
believed me. And it was like, yeah, maybe I can do it if somebody else has done it.
Yeah.
Why not? So that's a similar idea. I mean, if you're afraid to do something, if it's been done before, which everything has, well, you can
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Very good. Granny Nanny sounds like she was a smart lady, wise
Very,
lady.
very wise.
From Stephen Covey, he said, "What you do has far greater impact than what you say."
Yeah, totally. I mean, I love Stephen Covey too. You've got all the right people here. But yeah, it's about action. Yeah, it's not about what you say. Words are sometimes easy. Actions are what's important because that's what people pay attention to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're a hypocrite if you just say something and do the opposite. But your
Yeah.
actions are what people pay attention to and what lead to rewarding results for them and for you. So
Yeah. This is our show anchor. It's from Goth. It's been a anchor of my life for a long time. He said, "Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now."
totally. I mean, that's why I call my website boldcareleader.com
Mm,
because it's hard to be a care leader, but the bolder you are, the more results you're going to get. And there's a tool in my book, actually two very powerful tools. One is called the accountability ladder. It's out there. It's been written about a lot. But if you're high on the accountability ladder, meaning you're positive, you're results oriented, you're going to do a lot better as a leader. If you're low on the accountability ladder, meaning you're a victim, you're blaming other people, you're finding excuses, you're not going to be an effective leader of anything. And
yeah.
so stay high in that accountability ladder and that'll serve you well as a leader of anything. So
Very good. Wonderful, Mark. So these quotes and your responses give voice to love and action, the courage to step forward, and the leadership it takes to care well when it matters the most. So thank you for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us today.
thank you, Matt. Thank you,
A-
Matt.
And now, friends, if Mark's story has inspired you, if it lifted your spirit or encouraged you to live your life with more clarity and confidence, then I invite you to share that energy with our incredible team at WITV7 who make this show possible. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage people in need. Every gift matters, big and small. With your support and their tireless work, lives are being transformed and our circle of love keeps expanding. So donate today because it'll do good and it'll make you feel good too. Mark, I love the way that you've taken something deeply personal and turned it into a path that helps others navigate one of life's hardest journeys. And I admire how you bring clarity, structure, and leadership into moments that can feel overwhelming, helping families care with confidence, compassion, and purpose. And I'm super happy that you've shared your courageous, compassionate, and purposeful spirit on our show today. Will you please take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Oh, thank you, Matt. Well, first of all, this show is great. I mean, I've never listened to a show with so much focus on purpose and happiness. I mean, and you're an inspiration and something people should pay attention to for sure. So thank you for having me. I love the idea of purpose and passion. That's what I have now. And being a being a care leader especially with Alzheimer's dementia, is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done, both at the same time. And
Mm.
you can have that same reward if you're a caregiver or doing something particularly difficult and seeing it through and seeing the results. And that's what I hope that people who are dementia care leaders of their loved one think about, because it's, even though there's no cure, there is hope, and you can make a difference in their lives, and do the many, many Kaizen small things that can make a difference. And by the way, when you make a difference in their lives, you're going to make a difference in your own life, because you're going to be
Hmm.
happier when you see that smiling, happy face. You're going to see them living healthier, and that's going to make you feel good. So even though being my mom's caregiver was the hard, by far, the people, oh, harder than an executive? Oh yeah, way harder.
Hmm.
But it's also the most rewarding thing I have done in my entire life, and I don't regret for one moment making that decision to leave my successful career to take care of my mom. And sacrifice is about love. People say, "Well, you sacrifice so much." Yes, but that's what love's about. And when love is
Hmm.
easy, it's maybe love, but you're testing your love when you sacrifice a lot to for your loved one, and that shows that's true love, and it pays off because you're going to see the benefits. And I talk about a lot of these actions that'll pay off for you in my book. It's called Breakthrough Alzheimer's Care. You can read about other ideas, get some freebie resources on my website called boldcareleader.com. And I couldn't be happier to be on your show, Matt. You are an inspiration for the community, and I can't think of a better thing for you guys to pay attention to and donate if you can. And you're beautiful, Matt. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mark. And friends, it's because of stories like Mark's and listeners like you that we've been named one of the top 100 life purpose podcasts globally, ranked at number 17. So thank you. I appreciate your support for our mission and for sharing these stories of inspiration and purpose. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Mark and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. If you'd like to learn more about Mark Wilson, explore his work, and discover how to lead care with greater clarity, confidence, and compassion, you'll find all the links in our show notes. So find him, explore his work, and take one step toward leading with love in moments that matter most. And from me to you, dear friends, I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So don't miss this. Go to happyliving.com right now on your phone and start at the top. We've created a place where people begin to believe more is possible, where real stories, powerful tools, and a deeper source of purpose all come together to unlock their power. And that's what we want for you. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show.
So good.
And we're
So
out.